if you could have a perfect body without doing any exercise, would you still exercise if you are at the moment? And if you are thinking about starting an exercise program, would you still start if you knew that you could have a perfect body without it? I've been an exercise professional all of my life. I've managed health clubs all over the world, and most people will tell me openly and happily that they start an exercise program because they are scared of getting fat, or they want to lose weight, or they want to have a certain style or physique, a different physique than what they've got at the moment. That's their reason for exercise. Very few people say, I want to have a strong immune system, I want to reduce my risk of Alzheimer's, I want to get rid of depression, I want to be fit and strong. Most people, it's about, I want to look a certain way. So 9 out of 10 people then who are living in the world don't want to exercise, or the exercise program they're doing at the moment isn't giving them the results that they want, or a lot of people will just share, I never want to exercise, it's never going to be part of my life. So that's zero. Most people want to do zero exercise. So the further we get away from zero when it comes to any form of exercise, any form of physical activity, the less likely people are to do it. So there's my really important question as a personal exercise coach, as an exercise professional. Why do we give people long exercise programs? What's the least amount of exercise that somebody can do to have a great physique, to build muscle, to be lean, to look beautiful, whatever it is that you want to do, the reason that you're exercising? What's the least amount you can do rather than the most amount? What's the least complicated exercise program versus the most complicated? And now we live in social media world where you are given by millions of people all sorts of different stuff to do that one doesn't make any sense because it doesn't work, or you've tried it and it doesn't work, or they have a certain physique, they tell you to do what they're doing so that you can have the same physique as them. And I always ask that question, if 100 people do exactly the same exercise program, will they look exactly the same? If 100 people eat exactly the same number of calories, exactly the same percentage of macronutrients, eat exactly the same food, will they look exactly the same way? And of course the answer is no. So my question is always, how can we get people, and it's a very selfish question, because the world is fat, sick, weak, diseased, depressed, unhappy. And I always ask the question, would the world be a better place if everybody was fit, healthy, strong, lean, happy? And it seems like a silly question. We would have, the world surely would be more fun to live in. So what do we need to do as an exercise professional, as a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss, or a leader? What do we need to do to get people to exercise? And the further as we get away from zero, the less likely they are to do it. So what is the closest to zero? And when you learn anatomy and physiology, and that's all I ever ask, why rely on Dr. Google? Why rely on a social media influencer? Why rely on somebody else's opinion? Why even rely on a so-called expert? Why not find out for yourself how your human body works? And the ABC of exercise, of course, is anatomy and physiology. But for me, the simplicity, the foundation, the basic understanding of how to get fit, lean, healthy, and strong is energy. You've got to have energy to go and do things to get you into great shape. And there's 3 energy systems: the phosphate, the lactate, and the aerobic system. And the aerobic system we live in, the lactate system is really, you can exercise there, but it's hard because it produces a waste product that makes you feel sick or gives you burning sensation in your muscles. So why not exercise in the phosphate system, which is the 100% system, which gives you the best result in the shortest period of time because it's only 10 seconds. Now, very rarely do you ever hear that you only have to exercise for 10 seconds. However, there are some very rare scientists, some very rare researchers, some very rare exercise physiologists, some very rare people that study their anatomy and physiology that will tell you that the quickest way to get into great shape, to get fit, to turn your body into a fat burning machine, to have a strong immune system, to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's and dementia, to live the longest possible barring accident or disease, is to get really fit and really strong. And the quickest way to get fit and strong is to get puffed at 100% effort, is to lift heavy at 100% effort. So there's a lot of stupid exercises, there's a lot of long exercises, there's a lot of exercises that don't make any sense. There's a lot of exercises that will screw up your joints so that you can't exercise. And why do we still do those? I don't understand. I have to live, sadly, I have to live on social media because my students at the Max International Colleges are constantly sharing with me, Rowie, what do you think about this? Please, can you watch this? Can you please have a look at this podcast or this clip and tell me what you think? So my head is constantly in that social media, and I just call it rubbish, because the people that are talking about exercise don't seem to understand their anatomy and physiology. The longer you go for any exercise, the less effort you have to put in, because the more you pace yourself. 100% effort gives you 100% result. So long exercise doesn't make any sense. Why would you waste your time? Why would you waste your life doing stuff that wastes your time when you can get fit and strong in a very short period of time? But I'm an old lady and I bang on about this every day, and I've got to the point now where you're an adult, you can do whatever you want, of course. I am very concerned about our kids. I'd like our kids to be healthy, fit and strong, and I'd like our kids to not focus on ripped abdominals and tight butt cheeks and having a beautiful body. I'd really like them to focus on being healthy, fit and strong, because of course the side effect of being healthy, fit and strong is that you'll be lean and you'll have the best body that you can possibly have. Not that an elite athlete's got, not that a celebrity's got, not that somebody else has got, but what's the best body that you can possibly have? Are you the fittest and strongest that you can possibly be, which means then you will have the best physique possible. So if you learn your anatomy and physiology, if you understand the fundamentals of the phosphate system, the lactate system, and the aerobic system, if you keep your exercise short, if you make sure that it's safe, because of course if you've got busted and broken joints, you can't exercise at all. If the longer your exercise program goes, the less likely you are to do it. If you're broken and busted, you can't exercise. And if it doesn't work, you'll be demotivated, so you'll stop doing it. So if your exercise program is not working, and I always ask these 4 questions, surely your exercise program should give you a stack of energy, perform at your best, love what you see in the mirror, and love the way your body feels to touch, and you get the results that you want. Whatever exercise program you're doing, if you're not getting those 4 things, surely it's not working. And even if you are getting those 4 things, but it takes you hours and hours to get it, what happens when there's a time in your life when you don't have hours and hours? What if you only had a couple of minutes every day to exercise? Could you still be fit? Could you still be strong? Could you still be lean? And could you still be healthy and live a long time? And of course the answer is yes. If you work in the phosphate system, do high intense exercise for 10 seconds at a time. If you lift heavy every so often, because obviously you've got to recover when you work really hard, that's all basic anatomy and physiology. So my begging position, please learn how your human body works so that you can get your body to work at 100% effort, so that you can get 100% result, so you can live your life to the max and be lean and have a body that you love. Live your life to the max. Woohoo!